What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the lab with another quest build. I was contemplating not even showing y'all this build because it might break 2K22 next gen. This thing right here, I was in the builder cooking up something crazy. The tree that I found this build in was insane. It's extremely rare. A tinker left, a tinker right is going to change the name from anything a rebounding guard, shooter, multi-position defender, two-way pass first guard, two-way mid-range scorer. But this right here is my big dog hidden just monstrosity of a hatch, the two-way mid-range shooter. Like I said, there's crazy amount of names in this tree, but these specs right here are going to give you the two-way mid-range shooter name. You are a shooting guard at 6'9". This has shades of Granger, Rashard Lewis, and Paul George. Think of those big, rangy shooters that can play defense, that can dunk, that can basically do it all. And when you're a shooting guard on a 6'9" monstrosity like this, now that they patched the left-right cheese on those little quick play shots and offensive threats, this thing absolutely clamps up any guard on the perimeter. You're going to see the specs and the athletic traits of this build, but then it can dominate offensively, basically doing whatever you want. This specific rendition has really no weakness and is going to just body those little peanuts inside. So let's just get into it. You're going to be a shooting guard, like I said, 6'9", 232 pounds with a 7'5" wingspan. You're basically a 3 or 4. I have some skilled defensive anchors and jack of all trades at the 5 basically with these specs. So imagine plucking that build, giving it a little bit more guard ability, and then putting him at shooting guard matched up against other guards. It's basically going to be unfair. You're going to get your close shot to an 81. You're going to get your driving layup to a 68. And then your driving dunk is going to get to a 74. Now, you can actually put this higher, and again, if you change anything left or right, beware you might change the name. My dog, Soundwave Zero, I sent him this exact blueprint of these specs and on this tree, and he tinkered to, craft it into his own build, and he found the two-way mid-range scorer on this build that has an 84 driving dunk. So if that's more your preference, again, that's crazy hot as well. You're going to get those pro contact dunks, but on this two-way mid-range shooter, you're going to be a little bit more guard oriented on the perimeter. So we're going to get your driving dunk to a 74. It's going to give you that silver limitless takeoff, but you are going to get your standing dunk to an 84, and that's going to give you that gold rise up, and then your post control on this build, you're going to get to a 77. So that's going to unlock the gold back down punisher, post spin, drop stepper, and then that's going to give you 24 finishing badges. Again, what I wanted to do on this build is I know I'm going to get matched up against smaller guards. Not too many people have 6'8", 6'9" shooting guards that have like interior defense nonetheless. So when you have a 77 post control, 84 standing dunk, you're going to dominate. Go in the post. You see barbecue chicken, dump it down to the big, this shooting guard, and go to work down there. That's definitely going to be in the arsenal offensively for this build. And 24 finishing badges is going to allocate really nicely with like gold mouse in the house and whatnot. So without further ado, let's get on to shooting. You're going to get your midi to an 83. It gets to an 84, but to get this name, we're just going to put it at 83. Then you're going to max out your 3-ball to a 79, and then get your free throw to a 69. Nice. Right here, it's a two-way mid-range shooter that has a 79 3-ball. So technically, it is an all-purpose scorer. And the 83 midi is going to be nice when you get those pull-ups. And then free throw, you can allocate certain things elsewhere. But I think basically having a 60 or higher free throw is it's going to be fine for the rec if you know your free throw. So 24 shooting badges, I think is perfect on this build. And then playmaking, you're going to get your pass accuracy to a 72. On my dog's two-way mid-range scorer hatch, he actually got the pass accuracy higher because it's not necessarily indicative of what the attribute for pass accuracy is. But for this build, don't go over a 77 to get the shooter name. That's probably going to be safe. And then your ball handle, max that out to a 70. Actually, get that to a 75. It goes to a 76. We're going to get it to a 75. And then speed with ball, max that out to a 66. Going to give you 18 playmaking badges. You can, add some rebirth or +4 to your playmaking, but you do get silver bullets, silver quick first, gold downhill. This could be nice silvered out on playmaking, but it's going to be one of the big dogs within your offense. You should be looking to really score the ball with this build, but it can also do some nice things on the perimeter, creating for others. Then defensively, again, this is where it really shines. Your interior D, you're going to get this to an 83. Your perimeter D and your steelies get this to a 78. That's the threshold to get the two-way names, in a sense, on guards. And then get your block to a 94. You can get this to a 97 to get that Hall of Fame rim protector, but how we're allocating some of these attributes, we're just going to get that badge threshold to a 94. You will snatch block with gold rim protector on this build though, so don't worry. Then get your defense rebounds to an 82, and then your offensive rebounds to an 84. Also, if you're thinking about it, you're going to be down low when you get matched up on some smaller guards. At least that's what I hope. And so if you do miss your shot, you can have that 84 offensive rebound to go get your miss if you do happen to miss, if some big comes over with Hall of Fame Intimidator or whatnot. So this having offensive rebound on this build is going to be nice and crucial because you can play all over the court. And 32 defensive badges is absolutely ridiculous. This is a defensive build first, and hopefully defense, you'll create turnovers, you'll have nice help side blocking ability, you're going to grab rebounds for your team. You are not a liability, and you can literally guard 1 through 5 on this 6'9 build at the shooting guard position. So 32 defensive badges is going to allow you to dominate on that side of the court and then provide offense for your team on the other side. And 32 is a great number. And then physically, we're going to get the speed to a 70. It gets to a 72. I'm going to get it to a 70. Get your acceleration to a 68. It gets to a 70. We're going to keep our strength at a 58, get the vertical to an 80, and then put the rest on stamina. And that's going to get to an 80 as well. Usually I go vertical, stamina, 80. And then, strength, I don't necessarily punt, but I don't really allocate a ton into that in a sense. But so looking this over, 24 finishing, 24 shooting, 18 playmaking, and 32 defensive badges. One thing that you could do is you can add a little bit more on mid-range to get that to an 84. You could take off some free throw if that's not your style. You can add some stuff to driving dunk or post control. Again, if you tinker one way or the other with some of these specs, it potentially will change the name. But I mean, do you hate the fact that you can go from a two-way mid-range shooter to a rebounding guard? It could be literally the almost exact same build if you drop your midi to like an 82, but now you're a rebounding guard and people wouldn't even know what to do with that. So this hidden tree is crazy. You can also, like I said, get shooter, multi-position defender, two-way pass first guard, two-way mid-range scorer. Just depends on where you want to allocate those attributes and what you deem important. You can add some more on speed and acceleration. You can take off some offensive rebound if you want. And sacrifice a couple badges to get some attributes where you would prefer. But right now, we're going to go into the takeover. I'm rolling with, a glass cleaning take on this, or like interior defense, just because I know what I can do offensively. But it would be kind of unique to have like box out wall and then paint intimidation on a two-way mid-range shooter. And there you have it. Here's the name: two-way mid-range shooter, 6'9 shooting guard, absolute freak of nature. Like I said, I was contemplating kind of not even making a video on this because it's kind of game breaking, a little demigodish. So if you see a build like this out at the city, put that in the comments, because this thing is absolutely crazy. If you guys have some extra pocket change laying around, some sofa cushions, or you're on a rebirth just wondering what you should cook up and you already got a big, and you're looking for a big guard, like, make this build, man. You will absolutely dominate at the old gym, at the rec, pro-am, anywhere. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys are messing with this build. Quest Sparrow Streets.